All right, let's do this. Let's go. Here we go, Jonathan. Energy. This is so stupid. I gotta stop doing that. Everyone knows you want energy, so it's not a funny bit anymore. You can edit that out if you want. All right, habit fallacy. What are you talking about? Habit fallacy. What is that? Again, Jonathan. Every time I come up with a podcast thing now, I try to come up with some catchy thing so I can trap you guys into watching and clicking. So the habit fallacy. Okay, what is it? I don't even know if I'm using the right language. I'm trying to use big words over here. I'm taking that as a sign of disrespect. Jonathan's probably taken as a sign of disrespect. That's from a movie. But he wouldn't know the movie because he doesn't watch movies. Whatever. Let's go. Habit fallacy. So there's a misconception around habits. And there's also like irony with habits that I see around pool and with myself. Okay. There's like this idea that habits don't matter. I don't want to be clunky with my game, so I don't want to have a pre-shot. I did this for decades, by the way, I did this. I don't want to have a pre-shot routine because I need to flow. I don't want to slow myself down. I'm so magical when I'm flowing. No, I wasn't. I was just a worse version of myself. But anyways, on a pool table. So the thing is that no, the habit of a pre-shot routine is not a bad thing. It doesn't make it. It's like it could be a little clunky to add it to your game, but it's very, very, very important. It's a very important thing because if you watch pro golf, those guys are like completely OCD in their shot routine, and I'm talking about at the elite level. There's I don't know. I'd be surprised if not 100% of the people on the pro tour have a pre-shot routine, like a very strong pre-shot routine for putting, for chipping, for driving the ball, for everything. I mean, it can look like Sergio Garcia. It can look pretty crazy. Like he got like real twitchy with his pre-shot routine, and it looked like he couldn't pull the trigger at some point. But we don't want to do that, right? And you'd have to go to a sports psychologist to solve for that, psychologist. But having a pre-shot routine is like a really good habit to get into. And so people will say, I don't want to do that because I don't want to be all the things I said, clunky and slow it down and flow. But then they'll think that raging when they miss is not a bad habit, and they'll not see it as a habit. So when they miss and they react, they think that's normal. They think that's healthy. I need a little, motivation. I got to, be a little tough on myself, a little tough love. But what I'm saying is the reason why I hammer being present, and I hammer, joyfully hammer, not reacting, but responding to information, like with the demon drill and all that stuff, because we can build the habit of non-reaction. And you can just look at Jolie for how a person can do that, because Jolie was a 800 Fargo reactor, and now he's looking more like a 700 Fargo responder, meaning if you forget about how he actually pockets balls and stuff, I'm saying when I watched him play, in a recent match and league, I was like, holy cow, Jolie's like carrying himself, and he's faking it through a little bit. But in building habits, sometimes you kind of have to fake it till you make it. But Jolie literally delivered a 700 type of look when he was over the ball and walking the table. And it was so shockingly different. And it was just magical to see. And it's because he's knowing that the reaction habit, the rubbing the face, the running the shtick, the Rodney Dangerfield walking into the clubhouse on Caddyshack deal that he likes to do, it's a bad habit. And it's a negative habit for his game and for his performance and for his joy in being able to be present and all those things. So Joel was smart enough to realize this is a bad habit, and I got to fix this habit, and I got to get new habits, right? So all these habits that he had, that's part of what we're doing to try to get his game turned around, is to get these new habits in place. So building a pre-shot routine, not reacting, just responding, all these things are the things that we're working on. We're putting in new habits that are effective, and we're removing the ineffective habits, okay? And so what happens is, as an advisor, as a watcher, as a trainer, as a coach, I look for the bad habits that people have, and I suggest replacement habits that are good habits, right? And that sounds like, well, that's obvious. Why do you even get paid for that? But I'm saying okay, it would be obvious to my wife who's a therapist. It's not obvious to pool players. And that's why I'm sharing this information out with you guys as pool players. And I'm saying, if this information is not obvious to you, and when I go out and I watch pool players play, and it's very obvious to me that it's not obvious to them, then here we are. If you want to get better at pool and have fun doing it, you need to become a channel member. You'll get 2 exclusive Train With Me videos that only members see. You're going to have weekly training night live streams. Again, only members see. And they're sick. They're awesome. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to have a ton of fun. There's a Q&A stream, and you can be able to ask me questions and send me questions. It's going to be really, really informative. You're also going to get access to the Discord server. It's going to be awesome. You're going to be able to meet all these other cult members, connect with them, all these other weirdos. Hit the join button, or go into the description and click on the link. Now, Jonathan made me say this. I'll say it because it's true. Best value in pool training history. It absolutely is. And join and let's grow your game. That's all I got. I'm running a podcast in my garage, and I have a studio. And I keep saying the same stuff over and over. I can say it in different ways. And yay pool. Here we are. It's awesome. So it's... so maybe my habit is I just wake up every day and keep trying to help people, and that's it. So what I'm saying is, that was completely lost in that analogy or discussion. Sorry, rabbit hole. All I'm saying is, to a person like my wife who's a therapist, that's what you do in therapy, and that's what you would do in trying to help people grow and find healing and all that stuff, and find their way out of addiction and things like that. So, that's it. That's it. So we want to try to look at the things that we do habitually that aren't good, right? So if we have a habit of jumping up, then we're going to replace the habit of jumping up by doing the demon drill. You can go back and watch the video on the demon drill, and you're going to do the demon drill, which is a very simple shot, and you're going to hit it and replace the habit of jumping up with the habit of staying down. Okay. And so if you watch some of my reels and watch some of my things, I used to be a habitual jumper upper. And I said, I don't want to jump up anymore because I can't time my jump up. Now there are 800s that jump up and 830s, and there's 750s, and there's plenty of people that jump up in the world and play world-class pool. They've been able to time their jump or their flinch or whatever. I can't time it. I've tried. It doesn't work. It bothered me. I didn't like it. So I would sit and I would drill the demon drill, and I would do other shots, 50-80 training, things like that. And I would just say, okay, I'm going to shoot this shot, and I'm going to hit a very precise, detailed button pushing shot that is very hard to do. And I'm going to learn it, and then I'm going to stay down when I'm doing it, right? So I just feather staying down, and then I have the habit of staying down. And, I'm sure that you bet enough money, you put enough cameras on me, you put me in a situation, I'll probably revert at some point, but mostly I have the habit of staying down, and that's it. And all I can do is feather in the new habit, replace it with get rid of the old habit as much as possible, put in the new habit, and then try to build it as a habit, right? So jumping up, that's the way I would do that. So you could just go down and see wherever your sort of flaws in your game. And then that's what I do as a coach and a trainer. I watch a player play, and I look at the good things they do. Obviously, I love doing that. I love saying, this is your skill. These are your gifts. And now where can we improve, and what can we work on to improve? And then we're going to build habits in that area, and we're going to get rid of the old habit and replace it with a new habit. And this is what I suggest for you to do to replace that habit, right? And these are the drills I suggest, or these are the shots that I want you to shoot, or this is the pattern play I want you to work on, or whatever it is. And so that's kind of what I do, and that's what I do on this channel. Is I am also a pattern recognition guy. You guys, it's a drinking game. Every time I say I'm a pattern recognition guy, you guys can take a shot of espresso or something. I don't know, because I don't want to promote alcohol, but yeah, I'm a pattern recognition guy. So I see habits in players, and I see habits in groups of players. So, I've made videos before. I don't work with people over 551, and that's because of the Fargo, and that's because I see habits within people that they have like patterns and habits of behavior, and their habits of behavior don't fit with what I'm looking to do as a teacher, right? So I just am like, you know what? It's no problem. It's not the best fit for me. So then I try to, stay in my lane, and I try to do the beginner intermediate teaching, and I'm totally happy with that. And there's plenty of other teachers out there and instructors and content people that they can look to learn. It doesn't have to be me. So I accept that, and I'm good. So even within my business, I'll look at habits of people. I'll look at habits of myself. What are my habits? What are the things that I do, habitually, or what are the values I hold? So it's not even just playing pool and everything. It's even, lifestyle choices, habits, things like that. And I just, ethos, I like that word, ethos, that I might have, which is kind of habitual to, some of those things. So, yeah, this is a mess, Jonathan. Maybe Jonathan. You know what? I'll tell you a little story. Every time I turn off the mic, I'm like, bro, that was trash. That was a mess. And he always looks at me and says, that's awesome. We're going to make, that's awesome. You did great. So I actually don't think this is trash. I actually think this is important. So I was kind of kidding myself there, and having fun with Jonathan. But the bottom line is that it's just so simple. We just have to be honest with ourselves. We have to identify the habits that we have that are bad. And it's almost impossible to do that. It is impossible to do it if you're not honest with yourself. So you got to be honest with yourself, or you got to find someone you trust, and you got to let them be honest with you, and then trust what they say, and then find out the replacement habit, and then grind and get it. And then if you have a habit of getting angry, if you have a habit of frustration, if you have a habit of negative self-talk in a loop, I'm telling you, those habits need to get fixed and replaced. And because here's the thing, when you're under pressure, your habits come out. When you go to league, when you go to play matches, when you go to gamble, when you go to play friends, when you turn on a camera, whatever, basically what you're going to see is a result of your habits. That's what you're going to see. You're going to see the result of what comes out is the result of your habits, right? So like when I do these training videos and people play 8-ball, they can say, well, the table's really slippery, the pocket's really tight, whatever. But I'm saying, well, I look at it and say, what I see is different than that. What I see is a result of their habits, right? I see their pattern habits. I see their decision habits. I see what they're doing. And I say habits are what dictate the day, right? So if you develop good habits, you're much better off than developing bad habits. It's like a fallacy to think that I'm going to be frustrated in my practice and I'm going to react in my practice and then say, it's fuel, it helps, because it doesn't. That's not true. Ask my wife, who's a therapist and a brain person, and just look into the brain and development and learning and performance. Not good to be raging, especially in a fine detail motor skill game like pool and a tactical game where you have to be thinking. This isn't a reaction sport. This is a responsive game. Okay. So you have to be honest and say, yes, those habits are going to destroy your game and destroy your joy and destroy probably everyone's joy around you. So we have a responsibility to get rid of that reaction habit and that anger habit, because it's miserable to be around for everybody else in your league. So you have to be honest and look at yourself and say, okay, this is not good for my performance. This is not good for my relationships. This is not good for the people I'm playing against. So we need to build new habits. We have to have acceptance for these things, have honesty, and move forward in a better way. And then, and to just build new habits, because we want to win. So don't react and start responding so that you can be a better player. Forget about being a better human being. Who cares about that? We only care about pool and winning, right? Just kidding. So no, it's a performance thing. This is a performance thing. Reacting and being negative and being angry with yourself and having these out of control expectations, and I'm normally play better than this and all this stuff. It's like, and so then you beat yourself up or you make excuses, all this stuff. It's like, those are bad habits for performance, and good habits for performance are staying calm, having acceptance, having gratitude for the game, solving the puzzles, all the things I talk about. I'm just talking about how do we feather these good habits into our game? How do we get rid of these bad habits? And understand that we can't just turn our bad habits off when we feel like it, because they're habits. And the same is true about good habits. They won't turn off when the pressure comes if they're really established as habits and they're good habits. So they might go away once in a while. We might revert, okay, but that's fine. We just accept that, and we just know overall it's a numbers game. We're just running the numbers, and we're trying to have good things overall, percentages in our favor. So that's it. That's all I got. I love you guys. We'll see you on the next one. 5-second eye contact with the camera. Creepy Jonathan recommendation. Look at me staring at you when I'm done. See you next time. Bye.
Well, the 5-second eye contact is supposed to be when you actually say goodbye.
Oh.
So I can transition away. The rest of the time, I'm assuming you have eye contact.
Hey, if you made it this far and you haven't joined, just know what you're missing out on, you nit. Just know. I want to say that. I do want to say that. Okay. If you made it this far and you still haven't joined, what? Just know what you're missing out on by not becoming a channel member. Bonus videos, training streams, Q&A streams, Discord server for all the cult members. And then he told me this. Jonathan told me to say this too. It's the best training site in the world, and it's the best community in the world. I believe that. I believe it with all my heart. I know that. I see it. These guys are great. These gals are great. Very supportive. This is the place to train and grow your game.